Click it or ticket is a phrase you can see on road signs while you're driving. The Washington County Health Department has teamed up with the Ohio State Highway Patrol to help educate the public about seatbelt safety. Our Jason Livia has more.
Click it or ticket. It's a phrase you've probably seen countless times while out on the road. On Thursday, the Washington County Health Department partnered with the Ohio State Highway Patrol to brief the public on seatbelt usage. Master Trooper Caleb Corson with the Ohio State Highway Patrol talked about what the law says, statistics on its usage or lack of, and questions people had on the topic. He says a good question asked on Thursday was about the difference in wearing a seatbelt improperly and not wearing one at all.
Wearing your seatbelt incorrectly in the state of Ohio is the same as not wearing it at all, the way the law was written, because it says that you have to use all available components properly adjusted. So if you're not wearing a portion of that seatbelt, it's a violation, which was a very great question, and a lot of people don't know that.
He says right now the compliance rate on proper seatbelt usage statewide is around 85%, but they want to get that number higher.
And we're obviously just trying to drive that number as far north as we can. 100% would be ideal, but maybe not obtainable, so any increase is still going to save lives.
Corson adds that people should wear seatbelts not just for themselves, but for their family.
And you shouldn't not wear your seatbelt for you. Wear your seatbelt for your family members or your grandkids or your kids. And the last thing they want is for you to be injured in a traffic crash. So just do it for them instead of doing it for yourself.
Washington County Health Department Safe Communities Coordinator Amanda LeMaster says the most impactful part of Corson's brief today was the numbers on seatbelt enforcement.
The numbers, the astronomical numbers that he came up with. He was very educational about seatbelt awareness.
You can find more information on the statistics on seatbelts at WTAP.com. In Marietta, I'm Jason Livia with WTAP News.